Okay. Could someone read from verse 44 to the end of this chapter? I don't know. Khushbu Mataji, would you like to read? Okay, sorry, I didn't see this message. Okay, anyone else would like to read?
I can read, Prabhuji.
From text number 44, you need not mention the text number every time, so you
Okay.
can just read only the translations. I actually, 1 second, I need to also make it more.
Not the Sanskrit text, Prabhuji. Okay,
Only the
just
translation.
okay, Prabhuji. Unaware of the poison administered by her co-wives, Queen Krityuti, Kritadyuti walked within the house, thinking that her son was sleeping deeply. She did not understand that he was dead. Thinking that her child had been sleeping for a long time, Queen Kritadyuti, who was certainly very intelligent, ordered the nurse, "My dear friend, please bring my son here." When the maidservant approached the child, who was laying down, she saw that his eyes were turned upward. There were no signs of life, all his senses having stopped, and she could understand that the child was dead. Seeing this, she immediately cried, "Now I am doomed," and fell to the ground. In great agitation, the maidservant struck her breast with both hands and cried loudly in regretful words. Hearing her loud voice, the queen immediately came, and when she approached her son, she saw that he was suddenly dead. In great lamentation, her hair and dress in disarray, the queen fell to the ground unconscious. O King Parikshit, hearing the loud crying, all the inhabitants of the palace came, both men and women. Being equally aggrieved, they also began to cry. The queens who had administered the poison also cried pretentiously, knowing full well their offense. When King Chitraketu heard of his son's death from unknown causes, he became also blind, almost blind. Because of his great affection for his son, his lamentation grew like a blazing fire, and as he went to see the dead child, he kept slipping and falling on the ground. Surrounded by his ministers and other officers and the learned Brahmanas present, the king approached and fell unconscious at the child's feet, his hair and dress scattered. When the king, breathing heavily, regained consciousness, his eyes were tearful and he could not speak. When the queen saw her husband, King Chitraketu, merged in great lamentation and saw the dead child, who was the only son in the family, she lamented in various ways. This increased the pain in the cores of the hearts of all the inhabitants of the palace, the ministers, and all the brahmanas. The garland of flowers decorating the queen's head fell, and her hair scattered. Falling tears melted the collyrium on her eyes and moistened her breasts, which were covered with kunkuma powder. As she lamented the loss of her son, her loud crying resembled the sweet sound of a kurari bird. Alas, O Providence, O Creator, you are certainly inexperienced in creation, for during the lifetime of a father you have caused the death of his son, thus acting in opposition of your creative laws. If you are determined to contradict these laws, you are certainly the enemy of living entities and are never merciful. My lord, you may say that there is no law that a father must die in the lifetime of his son and that a son must be born in the lifetime of his father. since everyone lives and dies according to his own fruitive activity. However, if fruitive activity is so strong that birth and death depend upon it, there is no need of a controller or God. Again, if you say that a controller is needed because the material energy does not have the power to act, one may answer that if the bonds of affection you have created are disturbed by fruitive action, no one will raise children with affection. Instead, everyone will cruelly neglect his children. Since you have cut the bonds of affection that compel a parent to raise his child, you appear inexperienced and unintelligent. My dear son, I am helpless and very much aggrieved. You should not give up my company. Just look at your lamenting father. We are helpless because without a son, we shall have to suffer the distress of going to the darkest hellish regions. You are the only hope by which we can get out of these dark regions. Therefore, I request you not to go any further with the merciless Yama. My dear son, you have slept a long time. Now please get up. Your playmates are calling you to play. Since you must be very hungry, please get up and suck my breast and dissipate our lamentation. My dear son, I am certainly most unfortunate, for I can no longer see your mild smiling. You have closed your eyes forever. I therefore conclude that you have been taken from this planet to another, from which you will not return. My dear son, I can no longer hear your pleasing voice. Sri Sukadev Goswami continued, accompanied by his wife, who was thus lamenting for her dead son. King Chitraketu began crying loudly with an open mouth, being greatly aggrieved. As the king and queen lamented, all their male and female followers joined them in crying. Because of the sudden accident, all the citizens of the kingdom were almost unconscious. When the great sage Angira understood that the king was almost dead in the ocean of lamentation, he went there with Narada Rishi.
Thank you very much, Shruti Mataji.
Hare
How was it
Krishna.
reading through this on the early morning?
Yeah, as a mother, it was a bit um, disturbing actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because mothers are very emotional. Mothers are,
yeah,
yeah, very soft. Mothers, yeah, want to challenge the reality. This is what we can see here, right? Out of affection, love,
yes,
feelings. Yeah. Yeah. Before we go through the purports, like to yeah, offer a quick prayer. Then we start. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथां मह्यं ददति स्वपदान्तिकं वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are talking about what happened in the case of a short recap of this chapter from the beginning is yeah, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, he was surprised how come he's asking Vritrasura has attained perfection. How come that he went to the spiritual world though he is coming fighting against Indra and of course killed in the hands of Indra and all these things. And Parikshit Maharaj was saying the rarity. Uh, he himself, yeah, being a learned person, he was saying the rarity of a Vaishnava is that there is this ladder. Not everyone is a human being, and among the human being, unlimited human, only few follow dharma, who are karmis, and then there are only few who understand what is liberation, knowledge of liberation, uh, and yeah, there is this whole thing, and very rare would be then a Vaishnava, and Vaishnava who is a devotee of Narayan or Krishna in various rasas. So that's very difficult, because even if one comes to liberation, that is okay. One is attaining Sayujan Mukti, Sarupya Mukti, Shashti. So other things are possible. But how come that Vitrasura has become a great, mm, successful, perfect devotee who attained the ultimate destination? So in response to that, Shukadeva Goswami is telling to Parishit Maharaj about this, who was this Vritrasura in his past life. And then in that context, we are discussing about King Chitraketu, who was very, very happy, successful king who was ruling everything nicely. The problem he had was, in spite of having millions of queens, he didn't had a son. And when sage Angira comes, he inquires the well-being, and at the same time he opens up saying, we are struggling immensely. Why? Because I am concerned, after I depart, who is going to offer, uh, mm, what do you call this, pitra, rights, yeah, yeah, forefathers, rights to the forefathers and myself. So then Angira Rishi said that, yeah, yeah, he gave a prasadam, a mercy in the form of a fruit, and said, give it to your wife, and she would beget a son, and he would be the source of your Harsha Shoka. His name is Harsha Shoka. So anyway, all these things we have covered. This is after the last week, when we also discussed what happened is, when the king was so much absorbed in the happiness of, or in the pleasure of having a son, that filled not only him, his happiness, but also the people were very happy. Yeah, and all this happy festive mood, in that there was a sense of insensitivity from the side of the king or the husband, and that plus their own misfortune of not having a child, that was burning from both sides, and due to which all the queens were not happy with what was happening in the kingdom. So then they decided, okay, uh, the son is fine, but yeah, he's not our son. Why? Because he has not come out from us. And they started becoming more and more envious of Krita Duty, and they also felt immense pain because of the negligence of her own husband of not reciprocating love, or yeah, or maybe thinking that king has forgotten us and he is now considering only Kritadyuti as the only queen. So all this caused immense pain, and then finally they decided, okay, let's do one thing. Uh, um, Chitraketu's joy is all because of the sun, and the sun, if he is not there, who? Let's see who will be happy. Uh, and in that spirit, what they did is they just poisoned the child, and when he was in a garden, and that brought immense lamentation because of this envy. In fact, the previous verse 43 is saying, vidvesha, out of envy. Dvesha is already, um, dvesha means hatred. Yeah, dvesha means hatred, and vidvesha is when this hatred becomes more and more immense upon a person, then it develops into vidvesha. And here the feelings of the uh, co-wives of Chitraketu is said vidvesha. When vidvesha dominates, then what happens is it loses intelligence. So it's just like sometimes I mean, uh, I usually tell this example of my colleague who had pets as spiders, and these are poisonous spiders. And what happens? I asked, hey, when they're poisonous, what happens? He says, no, no, just all of a sudden it will just bite us, and for a while we will be just fainted. Yeah, so simple. We are also in this, yeah, okay, what will happen if we have Vidvesha? That is okay. Maybe. No, the problem is that here the queens just lost the intelligence, and it says that Nashta Matayaha, and became Daruna Chetasa. And when, yeah, it is not just we go into a sleep like a poison that is, we become fainted. We become insensitive to words following the dharma. And then there is this heart. Yeah, when Shruti Mataji was reading with lot of, yeah, I could see mm, the feelings through which she was reading was of course revealing, because how can something happen such a hard-hearted thing, uh, daruna chetasa and intolerance durmasha of the king. Finally they gave poison to the son because they have given poison. And then we are going through this remaining part of the chapter. Where is that notes? One second please. Okay, okay, we are here. So from 44, yeah, then the poison Kritadyutir. Kritadyutir jananti sapatninam agam mahat sutta eveti sanchintya nirikshya vyacharat grihe. So finally they have given poison, but Kritadyuti, when she was walking within the house thinking that her son was sleeping deeply, she did not understand that he was dead. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, it was uncertain thing that has happened. Who would guess? Uh, we are not um, above the conditioning of material nature, yeah, because we are too busy with our own dealings, how to make my life happy with all the arrangements that I can do and all these things, all the plans. What I think we are too much occupied to really be sensitive what can happen. Yeah, we know that sadhus and gyanis, they are trikala gyanis. Yeah, uh, Trikalagnis, yeah, they say Gni is knowledge. Trikalagni means one who is having the knowledge of what happened in the past, present, future. One can come to that stage. One is having tapobala, and the tapobala is making one uh, free from the attachments, and because of that, they are able to envision, foresee. They are able to have the shakti to see. But come on, yeah, what to talk about family men? Household life is already busy. Our mind is occupied there. There is no time for anything else. So we anyway are not able to see our future. We don't even know what is going to happen today. Of course, there are these predictory, what do you call this, astrology and all these things. We are not talking of that level. We are talking beyond that level. We're talking about when one is free from illusion, the knowledge that is self-illuminating, that knowledge is what tells us what is reality. And this reality we are talking today is already for a saint, Rishi Angira. He knew this. Harsha Shoka is going to give happiness and pain. Lamentation, cause of lamentation. So Kritadyuti, she didn't know that her son was dead. Sayanam suchiram balam upadharya manishini putram anaya me bhadre iti datrim achodayat. Thinking that her son had been sleeping for a long time, Queen Kritadyuti, who was certainly very intelligent, the word, ordered the nurse, my dear friend, please bring my son here. सा शयनम् उपव्रज्य दृष्ट्वा चोत्तारलोचनं प्राणेन्द्रियात्माभिस्त्यक्तं हतास्मीति अपतर्भुवि. Then, when the maid servants approached, they saw this lying son of Queen Kritadyuti. Not just he was lying, but she saw that her son, that his eyes turned upward. Yeah, this is yeah, usually when one is fully conscious and when he want to sleep, he definitely sleeps. He engages his power, his strength to close his eyelids. Uh, and when there is no more strength that he can control his senses or especially these eyelids, then what happens? Yeah, then we can see this eye is not fully closed. And especially when imagine that one is can let us think ourselves if we are in darkness, in pitch dark forest we are, there is no moon, it's a new moon, and we try to open our eyes wide to see at least some way so that we are still. So a person who is dying, and he is when he is losing conscious, he just still try to use the best he can to open his eyes to see, and in this state, the eyes are open, and of course eyelids do not have, they are very tender organs. So yeah, there is this eyes turning up, and also eyelids not closed is usually sometimes a sign of a person not normal or even death. Hmm. तस्या तदा कर्ण वृषतुरम स्व स्व सॉरी तस्यास्तदा कर्ण्य भृतातुरस्वरं गृह्णन्त्याकराभ्याम् उरुकुच्छकैरपि प्रविश्य राज्ञी त्वरयात्मजान्तिकं ददर्श बालं सहसामृतं सुतम्. Then it happened. In great agitation, the maid servant struck her breast with both hands and cried loudly in regretful words. Hearing her loud voice, Queen immediately came, and when she approached her son, she saw that he was suddenly dead. पपात भो भूमौ परिवृद्धया शुचा मुमोह विभ्रष्ट शिरोरुहाम्बरा. So now, in great lamentation, her hair and dress is disarrayed. The queen fell to the ground unconscious. Just imagine, they all thought, the citizens thought, the king thought, the mother thought, the light of their eyes, of their heart, their life is the son, and he is dead, and she fell unconscious. ततो नृपान्तपुरवर्तिनो जना नराश्च नार्यश्च निशम्य रोदनम् आगत्य तुल्यव्यसना सुदुःखितास्तान्ते व्यलीकं रुरुदुः कृतागशा. He's saying, King Parikshit is saying, O King, Shukadev Goswami is saying, O King Parikshit, hearing the loud crying, all the inhabitants of the palace came, both men and women. Being equally aggrieved, they all began to cry. The queen who had administered poison also cried pretentiously, knowing full well their offense. Oh, we are in a world, where this is dangerous. When people are acting, when people have an intention, people here what happened is this queens, yeah, where is the etiquette, that if one has poisoned, yeah, then usually one thinks, oh, I have committed some offense. First, usually one doesn't do it, such a disaster, and when one does it, okay, but acting in the sense here, full with uh, pretentiously crying. Mm. We one may think that we can escape punishment from here, we can escape unnoticed what we have done, but the Lord who is making a note of everything, yeah, the witness, Lord has arranged so many witnesses to see what are we doing. He is having this nature, he has the devatas, he has the grahas, he has the Paramatma inside our heart. In so many ways, the Lord is witnessing every act that we are doing. So we should be very sensitive not to, what is this happening? Yeah, cheating, pretentiousness that these co-wives were doing. Yeah, and श्रुत्वा मृतं पुत्र अलक्षितान् अन्तकम् विनष्टदृष्टिः प्रपतन् सकलन् पतिः स्नेहानुबन्धादयिताय शुचाभृशं विमूर्छितो नुपत्रकृतिर्द्विजैर्वृता पपातबालस्य पादमूले मृतस्य विसृष्टशिरोरुहाम्बरः दीर्घं श्वसन् बाष्पकलोपरा कलोपरोधस्थो niruddha kantona sasaka bhashitum. When King Chitraketu heard of his son's death from unknown causes, he became almost blind. Because of his great affection for his son, his lamentation grew like a blazing fire, and as he went to see the dead child, he kept slipping and falling on the ground. Surrounded by his ministers and other officers and the learned Brahmanas and present, the king approached and fell unconscious at the child's feet, his hair and dress scattered. When the king, breathing heavily, regained consciousness, his eyes were tearful and he could not speak. Hmm. He could not speak. And what happened? Niruddha Kanta. Niruddha means something, a choking voice that caused him not to speak, not able to speak. पतिं निरीक्ष्योरु सुचार्पितं तदा मृतं च बालं सुतमेकसन्ततिं जनस्य राज्ञी प्रकृतेश्च हृद्रुजन् सती दधाना विलापचित्रदाम्. When the queen saw her husband, King Chitraketu, merged in great lamentation and saw the dead child, who was the only son in the family, she lamented in various ways. This increased the pain in the course of the hearts of all inhabitants of the palace, ministers, and all the Brahmanas. Yeah. Who is happy when such a big trage- tragedy happens in a family? Yeah, one should stay with them to give support to such family. Yeah, because the reality is not something what we plan. The reality is what the Lord plans according to our sense of deserving. But when things go against our plans, yeah, this is what we will see. What is the mood of Kritadhyuti, and this will continue from here. Stanadvayam kunkuma pankamanditam nishinchati sanjana bhashpa bindubihi vikirya keshan vigalatsraja sutam sushocha chitram kurariviva sushwaram. The garland of flowers decorating the queen's head fell, and her hair scattered. Falling tears melted the collyrium on her eyes and moistened her breasts, which were covered with kumkuma powder. As she lamented the loss of her son, her loud crying resembled the sweet sound of a kurari bird. And then from 54, let's see what is her condition. Yeah, it's not definitely a stable condition, and when one is lost in own uh, loss, uh, one thinks, and then it can go to any extent in their expression. Aho vidata, he's saying Aho vidata tvam ativa balisho yasva atma srishti aprati rupa ihase parenu जीवति अपरस्य या मृतिर विपर्ययश्चेत् त्वम् असि ध्रुवः परा. Dhruva is indeed viparya. Viparya, parya means in normal, viparya means something opposing or something contradictory. Hey Lord, how can you be contradictory here? Why? Because she is saying, Oh Providence, Oh Creator, you are certainly inexperienced in creation. So she started conditioned soul. This is the nature of conditioned soul. With the slight disturbance, one starts even not seeing what is the value of Lord in our life. The moment, the very breath we are taking is because of the grace of the Lord. The very moment of our plans, whatever are happening, are because are supported by the Lord. But when things get disturbed and then we become like, hey, you are so cruel, and she starts accusing the Lord. So conditioned soul condemns the supreme creator. He's saying, what kind of creator you are? You have not created properly. Huh? And of course, there are reasons, so many reasons, something which are very close, something which are very abstract, and people start accusing. And here it is said in the purport proper that actually it is not the creator. This is our problem. We accuse the Lord, but the conditioned soul is accusing the Lord because he is inexperienced, as I said, because of our attachment, because of our own um, narrow vision, because we are, um, so to say, blind to the reality. That's why we are accusing the Lord. So it's just like a foolish man, a madman, right? I think a foolish or a mad. I mean, yeah, we could see in both the cases a person who is foolish or a person who is mad. Mad, mm, yeah, which means mentally disturbed. Yeah, who is not seeing things real as it is. A foolish person or a madman is thinking, hey, what is this nonsense? But actually, he is creating the nonsense, just like a person who is alcohol, who has consumed, and then he is intoxicated. He doesn't see the things reality, and he's thinking why the world is upside down. In fact, he is upside down. Yeah, so many crazy things. Yeah, so one who does not see. So the conditions of the jiva, every being in the world is not yet completely pure, not yet completely perfect, and due to inexperience, and then we start analyzing with our little speculative inabilities or abilities, we are able to comment. And then here she's saying, hey, you are inexperienced for during the lifetime of course, see how logical it is. How come during the lifetime of a father you have caused the death of his son? Huh? What kind of cruelty it is, thus acting in opposition to your creative laws. Yeah, what is a creative laws? Hmm? It We naturally think, we usually our logical thinking is, yeah, people die after old age. We think, yeah, one who is old, then yeah, he dies. What about young and youthful? Yeah, we think, no, no, how come? No, yeah, and especially a logical understanding is because the father ages faster or earlier, not faster, earlier than his son. So we usually see the son leaves the world first. But yeah, this is our understanding of law of creation. But yeah, we come to understand that if you are determined to contradict these laws, if you are going to change this law, so she thinks that this law is on stone, means only after father dies, then only the child should die. Now that is her understanding. If you are determined to change this law, hmm, uh, because yeah, why we think like that? Because we always want, let me try this, let me try that. Lord will anyway favor. So here that was what they tried. There's Chitraketu and Kritadyuti, they tried, and finally Lord gave, okay, if you want to change, this is what you will see. Uh, because it does not know how the subtle laws work and ignorantly criticize the Lord. This is what here happened. Prabhupada writes in the purport last line, he does not know how the subtle laws of fruit to activity works, and without knowledge of these laws of nature, he ignorantly criticizes the Lord. नहि नहि क्रमश्चेत् इह मृत्युजन्मनोः जन्मनोः शरीरिणाम् अस्तु तद् आत्मकर्मभिः यः स्नेहपाशनिजसर्गवृद्धये स्वयं कृतस्ते तत्तम् तम् इमं विवृश्चसि. Now these questions are saying, hey, this makes us think about few questions. Yeah, my Lord, you may say that there is no law that a father must die in the lifetime of his son, and that a son must be born in the lifetime of his father, since everyone lives and dies according to his own fruitive activity. Yeah, this is true. However, if fruitive activity is so strong that birth and death depend upon it, there is no need of a controller or God. So one starts blaming, if you're thinking that destiny is the cause, and hey, as a God, can you be cruel that let the destiny take over that a birth or death can happen? However, if fruitive activity is so strong that birth and death depend upon it, there is no need of a controller or God. And again, if you say that a controller is needed because the material energy does not has the power to act, one may answer that if the bonds are affection, hmm, and one may answer if the bonds of affection you have created are disturbed by fruitive action, no one will raise children with affection. So if you are saying, hey, the reality is this, but then why did you create an element called affection? Putra Vatsalya. Why have you created? What is the word used here? Sneha Pasha. So why did you create this affection vruddhaye to increase uh, in us? Hmm? So this is something. Why did you entertain that to happen? One may answer this, and since you have cut the bonds of affection that compel a parent to raise his child, you appear inexperienced and unintelligent. Hmm. This is our situation, and of course, Krita Dyuti is going through pain. That's why she is slipping from stable mind, and sometimes what we think is not happening, then we revolt in the spirit of all what is happening. And here we see that wife, she blames the Lord. If there is no law that son must not die before father due to one's karmic reaction, then if the karmic reaction is so strong, we don't need. This is also similarly when Lord Krishna is telling to Nanda Maharaj when they were doing Indra Yajna, they're thinking, hey, Indra is all in all. There is no superior. If Indra is satisfied, that's enough. And here she is saying, if in that context, Krishna speaks to Nanda Maharaj about karma mimansa, and here also this Kritadyuti is speaking about karma mimansa in a way that, hey, if karma is everything, what is the role of Lord? Is there some need of controller at all? Why are you, even if you are okay saying that I am the controller, yeah, you are inexperienced because affection is something you only have created and you only have caused us to feel. If the bonds or affection Lord created are disturbed by the karma, yeah, no one will raise children with affection. Instead, everyone will cruelly neglect his children. Huh? Because why to build affection and experience pain due to affection when separation happens? So in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning one should take. This is what karmane nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam is saying. One should take to devotional service without reservations and surrender everything to the supreme will of the Lord. That will make one happy in this life and the next. So we should not be affected by all these momentarily and bodily level, which is not, we are not that. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because Arjuna was also lamenting, Arjuna was also concerned, Arjuna also lost composure, Arjuna was in the in his weak moments. In the weak moments, we blame the Lord, chances, or we yeah, even Arjuna was calling the Lord Krishna in different names in the first chapter. There was intentionally a sense of, hey, you are saying so chill, but what about you in those situations? You also dealt things like that, which seemed like selfish or out of affection and all these things. So so one should understand this principle. If we have to write this in our important notes, where this can save us to come out of traumatic situations in our life, which means one should take to devotional service without reservations. It is not that we are taking devotional service because Krishna, you will give me that. Krishna, you will give me this. I am have fed up with this world. Hey, give me all. It is not that. Of course, the Lord definitely takes care. Just as um, a child, the relation between a parent and a child is the child should not be selfish. The child is not asking all the facilities that he can enjoy. because that's not appreciated by the father. But of course, the father always wants that the child is happy. In sense, the father wants to give happiness to the child, and the child should not long for happiness for himself in a selfish way, which means the child should not exploit the relationship between the father and the child, mother and the child. Similarly, the father and mother, they are affectionate towards the son. Of course, should not be that the child goes what is the word used, astray, that he is encouraged to be selfish. No, that is also not. So it is said that's why the reason why we engage in devotional life is not because hey my family life should be happy, my own material plan should be successful, let my boss be happy forever and ever. That will never happen. Let my family, let my relatives, yeah, appreciate what I am doing, forever and ever. That never happens. Yeah, all these things what we are seeing are a means and arrangement of the Lord, that we understand yes what is reality. We are too far from reality, and the situations bring us to come closer to reality, and we should accept the reality. We should accept. And devotional service is not kind of mm, mitigating our problems. Yeah, we are not doing devotional service for that. We are doing devotional service because it's our duty. It is said, uh, without reservations, and surrender everything to the supreme will of the Lord. That will make one happy in this life and the next. That is the secret of happiness. If we really want to be happy, the happiness. But how come is possible? Yeah, maybe if we have question time, we can discuss. But here we can see this, huh? Because she's saying, "Hey, Lord, you are not experienced, and also, yeah, you are very cruel. त्वं तातनार्हसि च मां कृपणाम् अनाथान् त्यक्तं विचक्ष्व पितरं तव शोकतप्तम् अग्जस् अज्ञस्तरेम भवता प्रजः दुष्टरं यद् ध्वान्तं न याः अकरुणेन यमेन दूरम्." Now it goes to this extent. Huh? She's saying, my dear son, I am helpless and very much aggrieved. You should not give up my company. Just look at your lamenting father. You are helpless. Sorry, we are helpless because without a son, we should have we shall have to suffer the distress of going to the darkest hellish regions. This is what is because the oblations, yeah, this is the right word. Rites are the process, and oblation is what is done as part of the rites. So, according to the Vedic injunction, one must accept a wife just to beget a son who can deliver one from the clutches of Yamaraj. Unless one has a son to offer oblations to the pitas or forefathers, one must suffer in the Yamaraj kingdom. So Chitraketu was very much aggrieved, thinking that because his son was going away with Yamaraj, he himself would also suffer. So this is the mood. We are practicing bhakti so that everything happens perfect in our life, perfectly, that we have the perfect result so that we can attain the perfect um, destination. Huh? The world where we are living itself is a world of temporariness, the world of duality, the nature of mode of passion and ignorance and goodness are influencing. It is not a perfect world. Of course, the Lord has created it perfectly like this. It is not that when an earthquake is coming, we can't blame the Lord. Hey, how come you have? Hey, I think in your scientific calculations of creating this world, you have missed something. No, Lord has created this world perfectly as per His plan, which means these disturbances should help us to understand we should not be selfish. These, distur- dis- these disturbances are creating us a great sense of pain. But afterwards, when 10 times this happen, just like when a child is building a sand castle at the shore, and the waves are coming, and then just everything is demolished in no moment, in a moment, and then he again builds. After some time, he gets frustrated. What am I doing? If I want to build such a castle, yeah, let me build where there is no such disturbance. And he might succeed when he understands this. So the waves coming and tossing, we can't blame the waves. Yeah, it's not the nature's problem. It is our problem that we do not understand the purpose of nature disturbing our plans. Hmm? उत्तिष्ठता तत इमे शिशवो व्ययस्य त्वाम् आह्वयन्ति नृपनन्दन संविहर्तुं सुप्तं चिरं हि असनयाश्च भवान् परीतो भुङ्क्ष्व स्तनं पिब शुचोहर न स्वकानाम्. You saying, get up, hey, yeah, your playmates are calling you to play. Since you must be very hungry, please get up and suck my breast and dissipate our lamentation. Hey, we can't see you lying on like this, unconscious, senseless. Get up, become more. Your play. You can go and enjoy. And naham tanvauja ददृशे हतमङ्गलाते मुग्धस्मितं मुदित वीक्षणम् आननाब्जं किं वा गतोऽस्य अपुनरन्वयम् अन्यलोकं नीतो घृणेन न शृणुमि कलागिरस्ते. My dear son, I am certainly most unfortunate if I can no longer see your mild smiling. You have closed your eyes forever. I therefore conclude that you have been taken from this planet to another, from which you will not return. My dear son, I can no longer hear your pleasing voice. Huh? Very painful, very tough. And then Shukadev Goswami saying, Shri Sukha Uvacha Vilapayantya Mritam Putram Iti Chitra Vilapanaihi Chitraketur Brashah Tapto Mukta Kanto Rurodaha. So now in this way, Chitraketu with along with his wife uh, began crying loudly with an open mouth, being greatly aggrieved. And what did he say? Tayo vilapato sarve dampatyo tad anuvrataha rurudah sma nara naryaha sarvam asid achetanam. So, as the king and queen lamented, everyone who were there, all their male and female followers joined them in crying because of the sudden accident. All the citizens of the kingdom were almost unconscious. एवं कश्मलम् आपन्नं नष्टसंयम् अनायकम् ज्ञात्वान् गिरा नाम ऋषिर् आग आजगाम स नारदः. Now what happened? After this has happened, now seeing everything was happened, understanding that king was almost dead in an ocean of lamentation, he went there with Narada Rishi. So this this is where we are. Sometimes when we compare this ocean as nescience, nescience means something ignorance, nescience. Yeah, in this ocean of this world is also compared like a davanala, like a forest fire, blazing fire. Um, and what about the shoka? The shoka, this lamentation, is also something which covers our consciousness, which covers us our to think properly, covers us in this moha. Kashmala is misery, uh, miserly. There was also in one of the verses, Kripana, queen was saying, "Hey Lord, how miserly you are." And here we see that evam kashmalam apannam, have when everything has covered one to think properly, they become miserly in thinking, and in thinking miserly, they die. It's like almost dead in an ocean of lamentation. Yeah, people struggle to come out of such a lamentation for times. It's so painful, but what to do? The reality is what is the Lord has planned. That is what is best. Just like if a father is ordering his child to engage in this service or engage in that service, engage in this occupation, that occupation, he's asking you go there, you go here, you do this, you do that. The father is helping the child to gain experience. In the process of learning, in process of these experiences, he learns, and in this learning, he becomes matured. It might appear to be very painful to see people struggling, to see children struggling, to see all this is out of for a compassionate or for affectionate, not for an affectionate, because compassion is towards mainly others, yeah, or compassion, whereas affection is mainly for ourselves. We have this affection, uh, can create this, yeah, and that's why now Angira Rishi and Narada Muni comes to help them out. So this is very important that rather one just get lost in such a ocean of lamentation and feel, hey, how cruel you are, Lord. No, the solution is actually to approach, hey, uh, yeah, this is what he said. Angira Rishi and Narad Muni, they have come here to help them out. So one should take as this uh, uh, a best course of recommendation how to come out of that, because in the end the reality is that we are still alive and we still have the duties and responsibilities that we have to take to the best of our abilities, and the main responsibility is to make our own life successful, to become devotee. If we are devotees, whether the people who we lose in the process of in our life, yeah, they are also delivered. Yeah, so we should take devotion more serious so that if they by chance didn't make it, we are there, we are trying our best for them. That is what is a teamwork, that's what is a family spirit. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So, Shruti Mataji, I hope, yeah, the purports and um, yeah, can help us to understand in the right spirit what has happened, and we can be empathetic or we can be having the sympathy towards, both are needed, but at the same time reality of the Lord, these are reminders in our life that helps us to become more strong and be more determined and give or become more dedicated in our devotion.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for reading. Anyone also would like to share? I think we have gone through this chapter once again, but yeah, it's very easy when in our life we can get carried away in our own affections and relations, and the reality is always there. At reality check, usually when we don't do, uh, the reality check is triggered by, yeah, by our activities, by our results, and the Lord is allowing it. Okay, you have done it, you face it so that you can understand what is going to, what are you going to face, and there is no chance that we can blame the Lord, no chance to catch him responsible. Yeah. Okay, then yeah, thank you very much for joining. This Gita recitation, I think Rupa might have corrected. I didn't mention the date. I just mentioned 5 p.m., but it's on the Gita Jayanti day, which is the day after tomorrow, Monday. So Monday evening, feel free to join this Zoom. We will read the Sanskrit shlokas from chapter 1 to the end, 18th chapter. This is what we are doing every year, and through the online media, it's possible that people can recite and also hear. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
And tomorrow we have class also, no? 7:30.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Tomorrow there is no class.
Yeah, we have class, no? That's what I'm
Yeah, tomorrow there is a class. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, someone were speaking. I don't know. Who was that? Was it Hemagori or Ritu Mataji? I heard one of you speaking or
No, Prabhuji, we were saying Hare Krishna. Avi is with
Acha.
me and he's listening the katha.
Acha, acha. Okay, nice. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेम। हरे कृष्ण।